Yes, people, welcome back to the latest edition of the Shoestring Budget podcast. Wow, Manchester United just about won in a 3-2 game against Omonia, a team until we drew them I'd never heard of before. Big shout out to the lads in the chat. I got Peter, Craig, how you doing, guys? Oh, what a game. What an interesting game. Lots happened. Lots of mixed reactions, certainly in that first half. It was definitely, for me, a game of two halves, without a doubt. Some really positive moments and some very, very poor, disappointing moments. So I just thought I'd quickly share some of my thoughts with you. It's not going to be a long one. Make sure you get your comments in as well, because I want to hear what you thought of the game. But yeah, for me, at the beginning, very, very slow, very poor. We created a lot of chances, that's true, and we didn't take any. We'll talk more about that, I think, with Ronaldo in particular. I felt awful for that guy tonight. He was really good. I thought it was probably his best game so far this season, I think, for Manchester United. He was in his position. He was always sort of there in a threatening position, but it just didn't happen for him, did it? Tonight. Couple of bad passes as well that sort of went behind him. There was one with Anthony and Bruno as well right at the beginning. Could have put us up 1-0. I feel like if we'd have got that early goal or that first goal, it would have been a much easier and probably a bigger win, because to be fair to us, we did create a lot, but there were issues within the way we played. For me, anyway, but feel free to disagree. What I would say, looking at it, is that we played in such a slow way. Slow balls. There was the build-up was really, really slow. Certainly in that first half. We didn't have really the likes of Martial and Rashford on. We didn't have that pace up front, which I get. So there would be that kind of slow build-up. But I don't know. For me, that first half, we should have been going at them, whacking it in, trying to get that first goal. And I don't know, for me, just we didn't look right in the first half, and I wasn't overly surprised that we went behind. I thought when we missed those chances against a team like this Omonia team, they defended well, and they didn't look too scared when they went forward. There was a couple of times they went forward. They didn't really do loads, but when they did, they didn't look terrible. Got a couple of comments in here. Malacia hasn't looked right in the last two games. Can see Shaw starting Sunday. Malacia, I'm going to do player ratings as well. So get your player ratings in. Let me know what you think of all the players. Malacia has looked, you're absolutely right. Malacia has looked completely off these last couple of games. Kind of gave him a free pass against Man City because it's Man City. Do you know what I mean? It kind of gave him a free pass there. But today, massively off it. It was at fault for the Omonia goal in the first half. Very sloppy play between him and Jaden Sancho. I don't know what happened with Sancho. At first, my initial reaction with Sancho was he was lining up a shot, but if you watch the clip back, Bruno actually cuts in front of him just as he was about to shoot. But it's still no excuse. He had options. He could have gone up on the wing or passed it to the wing where Bruno was, or he could have passed it back in a better way to Malacia, who, to be fair to him, when he received the ball, he didn't look comfortable. If you got the ball there, whack it back to the keeper or just smash it out for a throw-in. Do something with it. Don't just hold up the play. You're not that strong. He was trying maybe to buy a foul. I don't know what he was doing. It was weak. But Malacia was poor today. I was really impressed with Martinez. I thought Martinez really shone today. I was curious to see how he'd cope without Varane, because certainly at the start of the season we saw two games where Varane didn't play and Malacia didn't look as good. I'm not saying he played badly, but he didn't look as good when he was next to Maguire. And now he was next to Lindelof. I thought, this is going to be interesting. But I thought he did really well. His forward play as well, the passes forward. He is very much an Erik ten Hag player, and I will address that in a minute about the players that we've got and Erik ten Hag's system. I will address that. Got some more comments here. It was a poor performance. We shouldn't have conceded two. Their first goal was a disgrace, and their second was just as bad. Totally agree. It was poor. This was a game that I went into thinking we need to show a reaction. Bruno spoke about it in Ten Hag's presser. He said we need to go into this game and we need to attack, we need to show intensity, and we need to play for the badge. And it was just, I don't know, for me it was lethargic, it was tired, it was slow. And it was a very similar performance that we would have given under Ralph Rangnick. Very slow, very boring. And coming up to half time, I wasn't even sure we'd see it through. I thought this would be, I thought it would be a 1-0 defeat. The way we played in the first half, just very slow, very lethargic. Certainly against a defensive team, not for me. Both goals were down to poor individual errors. Yeah, again, we've addressed that absolutely. Poor errors. I don't know what Malacia is doing for the first goal, and I don't know why Sancho hasn't tried to play it forward or to the wing. Don't know what he's doing. He had a very poor game today, Sancho. Very poor game, and I don't know there's a lot of talk about things going on in his personal life and, you know, with his mental health. I get that, and that has to be a thing, but yeah, he was really off it again today. Again, another player I gave a free pass to with Manchester City last weekend. I thought, you know, anyone can have an off day against Man City, right? Or can look like they're having a bad day. But, yeah, Katie, evening today, not the best at all. Thought we would have smashed that easily. Yeah, thank you, Katie, I agree. Martinez jumped in when he needed to, although that shirt grab was a bit risky. Yeah, the shirt grab in the first half, that was obviously looked at by VAR. That could have gone either way. And I think they were already 1-0 up at that point as well, so we could have been facing a penalty as well. We really struggle against low blocks. Very true. And we always have since Fergie. I can't remember a manager that we've brought in that we can break low blocks down. But I do think that is down to the personnel. And I think, yeah, maybe that's a nice segue to talk about it. So I highlighted 2 players today. You look at Martinez and you look at Anthony, and it's the same most games, to be completely honest. They like to play forward. They really don't like going backwards. They love attacking. Even as a defender, even though Martinez is a centre back, he loves that ball going forward. He doesn't like side to side. He likes to cut through the midfield, and you start to see that. And everything that was exciting started with Martinez. Certainly in that first half, everything. But we need more players like that. And I do think this is going to be a slow, gradual build-up now. We're going to have to be patient with this. We haven't got the personnel, I don't think, fully yet. We haven't got the personnel, certainly in midfield, to make those creative passes, to pick people out, to attack in a certain style. Now that we've got Anthony Martial fit again, and if we can keep Anthony and Rashford as fit as possible, that's a good front three. Jaden Sancho seems to hold up the ball a lot to me, and that's been highlighted massively on Twitter this evening. He holds up the ball, tries to do a bit of skill. If it doesn't work, he's slowed the game down, and we need to pick up our pace. We need to pick up the speed. Maybe he needs to play in more of a central role. Maybe he would better suit someone like Luke Shaw alongside him, just behind him, doing the overlapping runs. I noticed Malacia doesn't do the overlap as much as Luke Shaw. When Luke Shaw came on, you knew straight away the pattern of play Manchester United were going to go with. It was overlap with Rashford and Shaw. You just knew that was going to happen, and it did, and it nearly came off a few times. So I think Luke Shaw on Sunday, I can't remember, someone put that in the comments, I think Luke Shaw is a must on Sunday. And I didn't think I'd be saying that maybe this time last week or the week before. And that's not just necessarily down to Malacia's dip in form. I don't think that's fair to say he's had a couple of wobbles, let's take him out. But I do think it's highlighted his attacking play isn't at that level, and that's totally fine. He's a young player. He's done better than most would have thought. So, but I think we need to be really patient with who we're bringing in, and we've got to trust Erik ten Hag in these tough moments. Got some more comments here. Sancho has to take on his man. Doing a couple of ball rolls and passing backwards just slows us down. Exactly, Craig. You're totally right. Absolutely slows us down. And I don't know why and maybe it is what we addressed earlier. Maybe he is having off-field issues. But I want to see Sancho running at players at speed. And I do think Luke Shaw will help him in that respect, because when you're up against a fullback, you're running at him. It's a one-on-one. You got Luke Shaw on the overlap. The fullback has got to keep Luke Shaw in the back of his mind, and I think sometimes Jaden Sancho will need that to then cut in, or to make that pass, that killer pass, or that killer cross. But I'm intrigued to see what happens with Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw could be key to Sancho, progressing forward. Rashford is so much better off the left-hand side, and the link-up with Martial is when them two came on, when them two linked up, beautiful. Rashford, for me, was our man of the match today. Transformed the game. Came on just after half-time. And he the tempo went up, the intensity and the speed. That is what we needed, and that is what we lacked massively in that first half. Now, a couple of weeks ago in the Europa League tie against Sheriff, I highlighted Ronaldo is the issue, because he doesn't have that pace anymore, so he naturally would slow us down. But you see, when you've got Rashford on the left, Anthony on the right, or Martial on the right, the speed that they've got around Rashford, around Ronaldo, is so important. And Ronaldo had chances today. Ronaldo could have had 4 or 5 chances. He was so good today, but it just didn't drop for him. And I feel sorry. It was sad for me personally to see I did say something earlier about the decline, but he didn't really decline. It just didn't happen for him. The chances that he missed today, he would have bagged every single one of them last season, or even the season before. Well, definitely the season before. Ronaldo, man, it's just not happening. And as someone that supported United for the past 20 odd years, seeing Ronaldo start for United as a teenager to the player he is now, it breaks my heart. Absolutely breaks my heart. Got to go through some more comments here. I've got Luke Shaw can be good going forward. Yeah, I think Luke Shaw is the key. Luke Shaw is the key to that left-hand side. I really do. I think he's going to be... You saw it today when you got Rashford running at players. Rashford loves to attack players. But with Malacia, he sort of doesn't make that overlapping run every time. You'd notice that Bruno or Ericsson will make the overlap, not Malacia. And I think that's where Shaw's going to be key. Could it be a confidence issue with Sancho? Yeah. Again, like we said, it could be enough. There was a lot of talk about a member of his family passing. There's a lot of issues. And again, when it comes down to things like that, in this day and age, we do have to bear in mind of people's mental health. And, he needs to... I know there was talk about them having the person and the psychiatrist that came in with Ralph Ragnick last season. Whether he's there or not, I don't know. There was a lot of talk in the press when we brought in this psychiatrist that it was frowned upon by the players. The players didn't take well to having someone in there to assess their mental needs. But we need to protect these boys. It's a difficult job. It's a very difficult life that they have in many respects. We all look at the money they earn, and we all look at the cars and the houses that they have. But they're hammered 24/7 on social media. They're hammered by people like me. They're hammered by every single fan. Just one bad performance and their world flips upside down, and their emotions have got to be all over the place. So I would always bear that in mind when we talk about players. Same with Ronaldo. His mental health must be all over the place. And of course that's a big thing. We always forget that with Ronaldo. He's just lost a child. He lost a child less than a year ago, and the impact that must have on his family. I mean, I've never been in that situation where I've ever lost a child. I know lots of people that have, and it's absolutely damning on their mental health and their well-being. Just because he's a footballer doesn't stop him being a human being. So I do think we have to address these issues from time to time, because it's massive. It's a massive thing for them. It really is. Ronaldo today, he looked completely lost at times. When he missed those chances, he looked... The first time I've ever seen Ronaldo look like he's given up. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards Ronaldo. I mean that more that he looks like, is this the end for me? There was a look up to the sky, and it broke me watching Ronaldo. Ted Lasso is proof that bringing someone in to talk to the players about their mental health can definitely benefit. They need it. Ted Lasso is a fantastic show, and it does highlight some serious issues, certainly around football and the mental health that goes on. Totally agree. That's a great point. I'm a bit worried about Sunday after this performance, but Rashford, Martial, Anthony have to start on Sunday. We look so much better when they were on the pitch. Oh, without a doubt, I'm worried too. I was thinking if we batter these, I gave a 6-0 prediction. One of the guys in the comments, Tio, said 6-0, and we jumped on board with it last night. We were like, yep, 6-0, gotta be a smash this one, and give us some confidence going into that Everton game on Sunday evening. But you're right, after seeing that, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one. Everton's never an easy team to play, and they're in a good vein of form now. You know, they've won the last few games. They're looking like they're on the up. We're looking like we're sort of in the middle again, going through that Ragnick phase. Not that I blame Ralph, but we're going through that. We're looking like we're starting to go to that phase again. We need to stop that. But yeah, it's a great point about Sunday's game. I'm going to go through my player ratings straight after this. So I'm going to go with the starting 11. So David De Gea, I'm going to give a flat, I don't even know, flat 5, flat 6. There was nothing really. The 2 goals that we conceded weren't his fault. First goal in particular, I thought was a really lovely worked goal in terms of the pass that came through. Yeah, thank you, Craig. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate having you on. So thank you. And thank you for all the support that you show the channel. As to everyone that's in the comments, thank you all so much for your support. It's been great having people to talk to about football. I love it. So going with De Gea, I'm going to give him a flat 5, flat 6. Yeah, someone in the comments put De Gea 6 for me. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Diogo Dalot. He looked like he took a back step today for me. Though I don't know if I'm being a bit harsh on him, because he has been really good lately. Even against Man City, I don't think he was particularly awful. I'll give Dalot a 6. Maybe that's me being a bit too kind, I don't know. Or maybe that's me being harsh. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I'm going to go with a 6 for Diogo Dalot. Victor Lindelof, I'm going to go with a 5. Now, as a player looking to get back into the team, he didn't do enough for me. And he didn't show anything. There's no authority with Lindelof. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 5 for him. Lisandro Martinez, I'm gonna go with a 7. Not just because of his defensive work, which he didn't really have a lot to do. It's how, as I highlighted before, his forward game is phenomenal. He's one of the best ball-playing centre-halves in the Prem. The way he gets that ball forward, I just think it's so important. We need that. And the more that we get these kind of Ten Hag players in, or the more these players start to adapt to this style of play, he's got to be pivotal in us going forward. Tyrone Malacia, I'm going to give probably a 3. I thought he was awful today. I don't think he offered anything going forward. Defensively, very weak. And I do feel harsh in some ways, because he has been great this season, but this was a reality check for him. This is I think a check where he needs to look at himself and say, I need to do better. I need to keep this level of consistency. You know, against a team like Omonia, you can't be putting in performances like that. Got here Lindelof as a 4, Dalot as a 5 or a 6. Yeah, I think we've gone through them. Dalot wasn't standout, but wasn't poor either. That's fair enough. Martinez 7 as well. Malacia 5. Yeah, maybe I'm a bit harsh on Malacia. The only reason I give him a 3, I'll bump him up to a 4. I thought he was the worst of the defensive line today, and I do need to highlight that in that score. But it was just the way in which he gave that ball away for the goal. It was his build-up play, it was his link-up play, his forward play. Just nothing seemed to click for him. Maybe it was just a bad day at the office. I think the Man City game, we can give him a bit of leeway, because it's Man City, you know what I mean? But yeah, for me today, I'll bump him up to a 4. I think 3 maybe is a bit too harsh. Moving into midfield, Christian Eriksen again. I don't think he played well again today. I don't think he was nowhere near as bad as he was on the weekend. He was one of the worst players for me in the game against City. But today, very average. A lot of his passes didn't come off. A lot of his shots didn't come off. He needs a rest. He's one player I will give as much leeway to when it comes to overplaying him. The guy is, 2 years ago had that awful thing, the heart attack that happened to him in international duty. And we're playing him every minute of every game. I think he's played every game so far for Man United this season, and I think he played half up till half time against Real Sociedad. He needs a rest. You know, he looks absolutely battered. So I'm gonna give him a 5 today. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible, but tired, and I will bump him up to a 5 because he does need a rest. So I've got a couple of comments here. Ericsson 5 looks tired. Yeah, absolutely. Ericsson is the man, 5 or 6, but he's overworked. Thought he would have been rested today. So did we. We said yesterday's podcast we thought he'd be rested, and maybe we saw Fred and Casemiro in that midfield. Casemiro today, I don't know. He wasn't great again. From what I've seen of Casemiro, which has obviously been very little, I've not been blown away by his game yet. A lot of people are, I think. For me personally, those people are getting a bit carried away and they watch his past performances more than his current performances. It does have to be said that he hasn't had any consistent runs in the team. Maybe we start to see that now, but today I didn't really think he was great. Again, I don't think he's a Ten Hag signing, so I can see this. I can see Casemiro flopping at Manchester United for that reason and that reason alone. Not that he's a bad player; he's world class. You know, his reputation precedes him, but I don't think he was anything world class today. I think he just did the job. I'll give him a 6, a flat 6. Wasn't great, wasn't horrendous. Thought he was slightly better than Ericsson, which I will say in the score, but got one comment here. I don't rate Casemiro at all, to be honest. Too many mistakes at the minute. Maybe he'll show something more, but not a fan. It's a difficult one with him because, like I say, he hasn't had a consistent run. Give him time to adjust. He's played in La Liga for the past, 8, 9, 10 years, so he needs to adjust. These games that I've seen him play, I must admit, the Real Sociedad game, the Sheriff game, I thought he was a bit better in, and this game today, games I would expect him to dominate and be everywhere, he isn't, and there's a couple of bad passes, a couple of strange passes, not terrible today, but is it enough to dislodge or displace Scott McTominay? It's yet to be seen. I'd love to see him play against Everton on the weekend. I would love to see him given that chance to start and to actually get a bit of confidence from that and cement his place into the team. But I don't know how it's going to go at the moment with Casemiro. But I'll give him a 6 today. Wasn't great, wasn't bad, just a flat 6. Moving now to Bruno Fernandez. I thought Bruno was quite poor today, but I don't know if that was because of the players around him not making the right runs or giving him the correct service. He had a really good chance to make it 1-0. Anthony played the ball slightly behind him early on. He would have definitely tapped that in. There was a chance where it was cleared, almost cleared off the line. It was cleared off the line / hit the crossbar. Maybe could have done a little bit more with that. He was under a lot of pressure for that, but yeah, I don't think he was. Other than that, there's nothing I can really think that he did. There was no long range passing or chances created from Bruno. I'll give him a 5 today. I thought for his level, for the level I expect Bruno to operate at, I thought he was below average in this game today. Well, yeah, in the comments, Bruno was poor today, 5. Bruno was just okay, 5 for me. Yeah, we're all in agreement in the comments. Anthony, I really love Anthony. He is brilliant. It was a really good shot he had. Very reminiscent to the Man City goal that he scored on the weekend. He's just like a tiger. He just doesn't stop. He's relentless. Nice to see him track back more today. We didn't see that on the weekend, and that was something that I highlighted in the review, and it was highlighted by all the pundits as well. He didn't support his fullbacks. He did a bit more of that today, and that was nice to see. But I really liked him. I thought his skills were really good. There was a time where he was like fouled by 3 players and he just carried on going. But he's exciting, and put certain players around him, I think is going to be interesting. Having said that, when he was replaced with Anthony Martial, we noticed a big shift in the way United played, and I don't know if that's down to how good Anthony Martial's been, or if that's down to Anthony still adjusting. But I'll give him a 7 today. I'll give him a generous 7 because we did see an improvement on the game against City. I thought he was one of our better players in that game. But the way he tracked back today was good, supported his defence, and his attacking play was decent. Just didn't quite happen for him. There was a really good save to stop him scoring. But yeah, I'll give him a 7. I'm excited by what Anthony brings. On the opposite side, Jaden Sancho, for me, just as bad as Malacia. Now, I don't think that is a... what's the word? I don't think it's a coincidence that the two players on that left who operate on the left, even Eriksen operates on the left side of the central midfield. They're the ones that have scored the poorest at the moment. Don't think that's a coincidence. I think that is something that their link up isn't there yet. Their style of play hasn't quite manifested yet. But I'm going to go with I'll go with a 4 for Jaden Sancho. Same as Malacia. Thought he was very average. Massively below average, rather. Slowed down the game. Tried to do skills. I don't think it's solely his fault, though. As I've highlighted a couple of times now, I think he needs that left back to operate as a, on the overlap. But, yeah, I'm going to give him a 4. Yeah, in the comments as well. Oh, Sancho's got a 3 and a 4. Sancho's 3 for me, to be honest, and all the stuff is going on outside of it, but wasn't... Oh, sad for the stuff that's going on outside, but wasn't great. Yeah, again, when I give these ratings, I give it based on what I see on the pitch. I will always say I will never completely abuse a player. I don't think that's right. I don't think we should abuse these lads. There are lads at the end of the day. We've got to be supporting them, pushing them, and as supporters, that's all we can do. But based on what I saw today, give him a 4. He needs to improve, but I think Luke Shaw will help him improve. I do think that is the key, and I'm interested to see what happens on Sunday with that. And we move up to the main man himself, Ronaldo, the GOAT. He broke my heart today, but I'm going to give him a 7, Ronaldo, today. I'm going to give him a 7. He worked well. He was in his position today. A big criticism I had about him in the Sheriff game and the Sociedad game was that he dropped into midfield. Now, that was another thing I brought up in my review of the Man City game, is that if we had Ronaldo on the pitch, we'd just have an extra midfielder, because he likes to have the ball. He likes to be involved. He's not one of these players that likes to just sit and wait for the ball. He likes to be in and amongst the action. Whereas today, I felt like he very much stayed off the ball and waited for people with pace and youth to assist him. And it worked for large parts. He was just very, very unlucky. And you can't say it's down to bad technical ability, because it's Cristiano Ronaldo. But on his day, even last year, he would have scored 3, 4, 5 goals today. It just didn't happen. But on the positive, I will be positive with Ronaldo. He improved, I thought, so much today based on the Sheriff game and on the Real Sociedad game. I thought he did well. Ronaldo, 6.5 overall. Play was good, just poor in front of goal. Yeah, it was really disappointing and sad to see. I felt bad for him because he looked so, he looked lost. He's like, how have I missed these chances? And I don't know. I don't want to see that from Ronaldo. I want him to score every goal. I miss the old Ronaldo. I really do. It's so sad to see. Ronaldo still deserves a decent score, 7 for me. At least he kept pushing and trying. Others did not show this at all today. You're absolutely right. Yeah, he was one of the players that led by example today. He really went for it. Just a combination of poor finishing, low confidence. That he looked low on confidence today, which I never thought we'd say about Cristiano. Yeah, I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end of him at Manchester United. And I wish, whatever he goes on to in the future, that it happens for him, because I feel like he's wasted now at United. He's always on the bench, rightfully so in many ways, but yeah, really, really sad. But it was him today breaking my heart. Yeah, someone else put in the comments, the one that hit the post did break my heart, to be honest. Yeah, it was just like nothing happened for him today, and I just don't know how to explain that. But it is what it is. We have to roll with that. Now, Rashford, for me, I'm going to go with a 9 for Rashford today. I'm going right in there. Changed the game. We would have lost that game without Rashford today, without a doubt. He got a brace, he got the assist, and his overall play is I can't remember if someone said it earlier about him playing on the left. Massive difference from Jaden Sancho. That is down to, for me, that is down to the fact that we also had Luke Shaw, who I'm also going to give, Luke Shaw a 6 today. Don't think he was anything exceptional. Luke Shaw did what Luke Shaw does, which is them overlapping runs. He was there in defence when we needed him, didn't make any mistakes. He looked quite confident for a player that's been benched for however long. But I'm excited to see, and I hope that now we've got this Tyrone Malacia that will give Luke Shaw the push that he needs to find consistency. The Rashford 8, he was superb off the left-hand side. Fantastic off the left. Really, really good. Really like that. Rashford 8 or a 9. I saw such a positive attitude today. He was on it. Yeah, there was a lot of talk that he was injured, obviously, for the City game, and you could see that he was very off it on the City game. And there have been times this season I've been very critical of him for his work rate. I always feel like we press, and then just as we get into a sort of vicinity of the ball, we step off. We don't press in a true way. And I'm always quite vocal with Luke Shaw, with Rashford on that front. We've got another comment here. Shaw 7, overlaps of quality. Oh, yeah, maybe I'm a bit harsh because for me, Luke Shaw did today what he always does, which is them overlapping runs, and maybe we have missed that, and maybe we've underestimated how important that is. So yeah, maybe I'm harsh. Maybe I should boost him up to a 7, because I do think having him on just brought an extra level of threat into that game. So, and then Tony Martial, I'll give an 8 to. Really, really good. I'm so happy. He's got 3 goals in 2 games now. Just come back from injury as well, so it's never easy to come back from injury and perform the way he has. Really, really good. 8. I'm going to give him an 8. We had Scott McTominay as well, came on for Casemiro towards the end to give him a 6. Didn't do anything. Didn't have time to do anything really. But it's exciting stuff. Really is exciting stuff when we've got Rashford and Martial on the ball. On the pitch. Really exciting. I hope we go with that against Everton. I don't want to see us go into some weird structure. But what I would say, and I've said it a few times tonight, and I will keep reiterating it, we need to see this consistency. We need to find this consistency again. This way of playing, this attack. The only player I saw with it today, certainly in the first half, well, talking in the first half, the only player I saw that had it today was Martinez, with them forward passes, that forward thinking. Anthony to an extent as well. Second half, it was nice to see players with flair like Rashford and Martial come on, Luke Shaw, speed. We need speed, and Erik ten Hag likes to play with speed. Roll on Sunday and let's see how we go. I've got a few more comments to read here. Martial, love him. 8, brings such an energy to the pitch. Martial, 9 for me. He gives so much to the team. Yeah, high. I've got between 8s and 9s. McTominay and Fred. Oh yeah, and of course Fred, 7. Really felt like he made a difference. Fred was much better today, and it was nice to see him play in a deeper role. His energy that he brings. I think this is why it's good having him off the bench, because he can reignite the tiredness within the legs of the other players around him. He really does go for it. And say what you like about Fred, his technical ability, or say what you like. When it comes to energy, there's nobody that gives more than Fred when he's on the pitch. That man runs everywhere. But yeah, I'll go with the 7 today for Fred and McTominay. Yeah, I forgot about Fred. Yeah, they did bring something to the game. So those are my scores. Those are my player ratings. And it's been really lovely talking to you guys tonight. We've obviously gone quite deep with the mental health side of things as well. But I do think it's important to address. And I think it's something that we as fans should be more mindful of. So thank you to everyone in the comments. It's quite a quick one this evening. Just wanted to get your thoughts, my thoughts out into the ether. And yeah, please smash a like, drop a subscribe if you're new. Please retweet and share this. Let's start building this community. We're starting to see it now more in the comments. Me and Tom both said after yesterday's podcast, it's so nice being able to talk to other fans. It's what we want. It's what we've always wanted, and that's why we started this channel. So really excited. We roll on to Sunday's game against Everton, so I'll be back for the review of that game as well. Hopefully it's a Man United win. Thanks in the comments, guys. Have a great night. Manchester United won.